Hello and welcome to episode 45 of the Hoopinions podcast, Rivalry Stew with a Side of Consequence.
Yeah.
My name's Harry. I've got Ben in the studio. Where do we start with today? Do we just get the big elephant-shaped gun?
I think we do. And real quick, I just realized that the Rivalry Stew this week, do you know what the flavour is? Beef.
Oh, I'm such a genius. I didn't think of that. But
it's so good. But no, it has been a week full of, a lot of just actions and consequences, really. I guess we start off with, the big one.
The media has definitely gone, look, there's not a lot going on. There's often like a bit of a lull before playoffs where people are usually playing it pretty safe. Things are usually decided around now, but they're not in the West in the West. Still close, but it is, a lot of people are injured. Things are quieting down a little bit as people try to get healthy before the playoffs. So I think the media has slightly gone in on this a bit too hard, but it's a talking point.
Yeah.
A lot of discussion with Ja Morant. He's suspended indefinitely. He's lost his Powerade have deleted his commercial. At least the police have closed off their investigation, saying that there's a lack of evidence to support, which honestly it's probably a good thing. He's still probably in trouble of how he got the gun. There's still a whole lot of things. The coaches haven't really given an indication of it. Sounds like I don't want to add more fuel, but it almost sounds like he had a substance abuse problem or something, or like the way they're just like, John needs to heal and come back a better person. It just sounds like there's a lot more going on than just him being an idiot, potentially. But I guess it's also a great opportunity. And I think he has released a statement saying that he's sorry and that he's an idiot and that it's been a good wake-up call. Yeah. So hopefully that is. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Look, I guess, end of the day, I think I'll try to put a positive spin on it, and I hope this is a learning experience because he's still young. It's still early in his career. He's got plenty of time to turn it around. I think we've seen other players in the past have had controversy and still managed to turn around. So there's time. I think he just needs to approach it the right way. But you kind of called it. Earlier in the season, you were saying he needs to be careful who he's hanging around with. We're getting multiple stories, and there's a pattern developing. And, it kind of ended up in this, now indefinite suspension. So
he's got to get the right dogs. And as you said today, we were talking about it at lunch at work, that Shaq was like, hey, the people I had around me, I'm stealing your point.
No, 100%.
Shaq was like, the people around me, they were the ones telling me no, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Yeah. And it seems that Ja's got the opposite.
Yeah. I think, out of all the takes, because there have been a lot that have been almost too sympathetic for Ja, to be honest. He just needs time to... Look, he messed up. He had multiple levels of messing up. But I think Shaq kept it the most real. He's like, you had to go into the app. You had to do all these things to start a stream, blah, blah, blah. I had to get... Yeah. So there's a lot of layers to it. But end of the day, he said he had the right crew around him and Ja needs to build the right support around him because,
I also like the takes of Shannon Sharp where he's NBA will move on without you. If you keep acting a fool, they'll get rid of you.
Very true.
You've got a once in a lifetime opportunity for generational wealth.
Yep.
Generational. It's a lotto. You've won the lotto. Your skills are the lotto. Treat them like skills.
Yeah. Because it's a business end of the day. They're going to have their best interest at first, and if he's not representing the brand, they're going to move on. So
it doesn't matter how good he is.
Yeah.
And Taiwan don't pay as much as
Dwight would know.
Man, I'm still surprised that with how every team kind of needs a spare big. I'm really surprised that Dwight hasn't been picked up yet. I'm honestly most of the other see that list of Aldridge and all the other people. Most of that list, I'm just I'm not surprised they're washed. But
Dwight they're a bit old, but
still seems like the most serviceable out of that list.
Especially just because he's been on winning teams for the last few seasons. He's filled a role and he's done it pretty well. So it's a bit of a shame.
So I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah. So we're at the point of the season now where injury, whoever it honestly is going to come down to in the West at least, whoever's the most healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
There is a humongous West injury list right now.
Yeah.
Starting off with the Durantula.
Ooh, that's tough to see.
Did you see that clip?
Yeah, that's tough to see. As we both sprained our ankles at points. When you see it, you go, oh, you just cringe a bit. But it was pre-game. before. It was in the warm-ups before the game.
He was just dunking and he just landed wrong, and it was one of those ones where it's like, oh, it didn't look that bad, but it also looked bad.
Yeah. It looked bad watching it a few times. The first time, you're like, oh, I just rolled it, and oh no, it was bad. But it's just so unlucky. Like doing it before the game, and he's just come back from injury as well. So,
and now they're like, we are hopeful that KD will return by the end of the season,
which is not good. I mean, yeah,
it's just a freak accident.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do.
Well, apparently he finished the warm up, and then they were like, no.
Yeah, and they're like, no, you can't carry on.
And then you're like, no, you cannot play. Yeah. But I've seen rumors that it's a grade 2 ankle sprain, which is what I did to myself a couple of months ago. And let me tell you, it sucked.
Yeah.
KD's probably got better medical access than I do, and he'll probably spend his whole time rehabbing.
Yeah.
Whereas I just slept, worked, and ate things out of an air fryer.
Living the life, man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's not a grade 1. If it's a grade 2, like that is supposed to be like a good couple of weeks, like more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah. And I guess in terms of the Suns as a whole, what impact is this going to have? Because they're currently in 4th. They're sitting a good 5 games above like knockout of playing entirely. So I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're going to drop out entirely with him gone, but
they've still got a good team. Obviously KD was the icing on top, and he even that other day he took the clutch shot for the W. I think they've just got to tread water.
Yeah.
As long as KD is healthy by playoffs,
that's
they're
the
fine.
main thing. Yep. Yeah. If he's not ready for playoffs, that's the main concern, I think.
And they've got Book, they've got DeAndre, they've got CP3. I think they've got enough to get them there.
Yeah. But they need to make sure they're ready by the time it comes down to first round.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to be looking promising for them without him, because they're currently at the moment matching up with maybe the Clippers. Depending if they move around a bit, could be anything from the Warriors to Wolves yeah. So it depends how far they drop. They could almost be playing Grizzlies, Kings, and Nuggets. So
you don't want honestly they want to try and go higher rather than lower.
Yeah.
Which the Grizzlies have dropped a bit. They're 5-5. They've had 5-5 in the last couple of games.
Wanted to quickly mention that with Jargon, Tyus Jones obviously been getting more minutes at the point. He's actually been playing pretty well.
Yeah.
He's been doing a good job. He's had 25 points and 12 assists in one game, 22 and 11 assists. He's had 5 steals, 3 steals. He's been doing the job. Like, he's not been carrying the team, but he's been doing well enough. So as long as it's like you said, staying afloat. If the Grizzlies can at least stay afloat.
Staying alive.
That's what they're doing. But with that, the Kings have actually moved into second. Well, tied kind of second, but which I think is the highest the Kings have been in decades and decades. So I love to see this. It's funny.
An embarrassment to this league. What is happening?
I love the hate that you have for the Kings, which makes me want to go for them more, because the Grizzlies are kind of my team, but with all the drama, it's making me less and less keen on them. So I'm jumping aboard the light the beam train, really. So I'm rooting for the Kings now.
Are you going to buy a Kings jersey?
You know what? I might just do that, just because I know that you'll hate it.
Disgusting.
Let's get a Fox or Sabonis jersey.
The Kings don't even have a good jersey.
Are you kidding me? It's purple. It's great.
Okay. I like purple, but I don't like the...
Alright, I'm going to get a Fox jersey just to wear it at the podcast to make you annoyed.
Rude. Well, talking about injuries, we should go... We've talked about KD. KD's the big one.
Yep.
But then Kuminga felt left out, and so before his game today, he decided to roll his ankle and warm up as well.
What is it with the pre-game? You're not meant to be doing that.
At least with him, he was driving on like someone, and he just took a step, like his step went a bit too far. He just stood on the guy's foot and rolled it.
At least there was someone else there. KD did it on nothing, so
it was token defense. Like it was just backing up, and then So that was just my goodness. But we've got. So Kuminga rolled his ankle. Luka has Luka's injured. He tried to play through like a muscle strain or a something the other day in their loss against the Pelicans. But he looked so bad. They took him off after a while. He was just like, bro. LeBron has a bad ankle. Zion. The latest we've heard from Zion is that he is not close to returning.
That's so rough.
The man averages like 20 games a season.
It's I don't know if we're jinxing it, but it honestly felt like this was the season he was going to come back and make an impact. That's for me. It was like this season, because the other ones, each season there's been one big thing he's gone wrong.
He's slimmed down a little bit.
Yeah,
he's so fun to watch.
The Pelicans have really assembled a good roster with him there. they moved up to third at one point. Without him, I mean, they're still solid, but they're down to 10th now, and it's just
and then Brandon Ingram rolled his ankle. So Pelicans are down 2 again.
Yeah, and Ingram only just came back from injury too. So
poor dude.
Yeah.
Cat is still out. The New Zealander from the Grizzlies.
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams.
He's out.
Been extended. He has to do some like stem cell treatment now, and he's a big thing for them. So the West is very quickly opening up to who is. I believe Denver and the Kings are looking pretty good injury wise. The Clippers are looking pretty good. The Timberwolves, outside of Cat, honestly, that's the thing.
Cat,
without Cat, the Timberwolves are still pretty good.
They are sitting in 7th without him, so which honestly surprises me. I'm not gonna lie, that's a bit of a surprise. So
Cat's like the KD for them.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like without him, they have an okay team, but I don't think it's quite the level that the Suns would have. And just for reference, they're above the Mavs, Lakers, or whatever. But Pelicans, Jazz, these are all teams that have been kind of contesting, and I'm surprised that they've kept it together. So once Cat is back, don't know the schedule for his return, but I think they'll be looking quite strong for playoffs, to be honest. So
I think Conley's been nothing but good for them.
That's true. I think that was a great move picking him up. Getting him and Gobert's chemistry. So
need to do some. Maybe next week we'll do like a stats of the team pre-Conley, and then give it another week or two and see if we can get like a.
Yeah,
or
bigger
do like the
sample
last
size.
2 weeks versus the next 2 weeks and see what Conley does to the team.
Yeah,
it might be a bad move. And then obviously Golden State is still missing people as well.
Yeah.
So it's so close. We cannot talk enough about like there's multiple teams on equal 12.5 games behind. There's multiple teams on 14, and then the 3 team like 11th, 12th, 13th are 14 and 15 games behind. 14 and a half and 15. Like there is.
You've literally got 5th all the way down to 13th, separated by like 3 games. It's actually insane.
We should look at the all of these teams in the West and see who has the easiest schedule versus the hardest schedule.
Ooh.
That might be a juicy analysis.
That's true. Really quick, I know we talk about the Lakers a lot, but they are 9th. Just wanted to point that out, which I think is the highest they've been this season. And maybe look out the bet we had going that they're not going to make it past first round. It seemed like an absolute lock. It seemed really easy.
Since they've had Vanderbilt, they've had like
Vanderbilt's
first in
been a good
defense.
move. Yeah. So I don't know. Something's working there. I think Vanderbilt was a good move.
No, Lakers. No.
Yeah,
I don't
want to see them make the playoffs, but. Yeah, honestly, it's that close.
Hell no.
It's that close.
Nah, they're trash. I'm not worried.
Oh my gosh.
Just step on LeBron's ankle.
No, we don't need more injuries.
And Lonzo needs a 3rd surgery.
Oh gosh, that's terrible news. Yeah.
Poor dude.
Yeah, not being good. But one positive for the Bulls, quickly shouting them out. They did beat the top seeded Nuggets. Quite significantly.
The other day.
Yeah.
Why do they beat random good teams, but then they can't beat the bad teams?
Oh, man, I don't know. At first I thought, maybe they were resting Jokic or something, but no, he played. Almost got a triple-double.
I swear, Chicago beats all the contenders and then loses to like... Okay, no, that's wrong. They lose to everyone. But they lose against the Hornets.
Yeah.
But then they go and beat the Nuggets. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
I mean, it was a good game for Vucevic. I think he dropped like 25 and 15 rebounds or something. So, yeah, but it's just a bit of a shame because honestly, with Lonzo, I think they could be definitely a playoff team with a full roster. I think, they've got a few
without
injuries there.
I just don't get this Chicago Bulls team. One week I'm just like, blow it up, and the next week I'm like, wow, they're really good. They should keep it. It's just, but they can't seem to decide. We cursed someone.
Oh no, who have we cursed?
Because we were talking a lot about how well the New York Knicks have been playing. And they've been playing really well. They're on a roll.
Yeah.
And then they went and lost to the Hornets. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's rough. They've currently lost back-to-back games now. But one little bright spark before we get back to that.
You guys had a
Hornets.
good thing, New York. What are you doing?
They did. I just want to say, because we've been talking about how they haven't really had a point guard. Jalen Brunson's come in and really filled that role. But I mentioned some of the youngsters still taking the time to develop. Quickly dropped 38 on the Celtics in double OT, to be fair.
Who?
Emmanuel Quickly,
What team?
point guard of the future for the Knicks.
Oh, I didn't know he was on the Knicks.
So yeah, some of their youngsters are starting to step up, and yeah, it's good to see big performances like this every now and then.
Oh.
But no, Brunson's still been playing well. He's been kind of the key.
And then
Randall had a big game too.
I
so.
saw a rumor that is it Josh Hart? Have they got
Yep, they got
Hart.
Josh Hart. Yep.
Hart. Josh Hart is going to decline his player option and get a bigger contract from New York for longer.
I think it's a fair call. I think he's
Been
fit
he's
in well.
been
He'd had a
good
couple up and down games, but overall been a
He's been-
positive. So
He's been playing good. But come on, you can't lose to the Hornets without LaMelo. Come on.
because that is minus LaMelo too. So that's pretty surprising. At the moment, they've got like Hayward trying to carry, and they got Scary Terry, and
Come on, that team's rubbish.
they're a tanking team effectively. So
Like, come on, we took half a season to trust you enough, New York, to say something good about you, and then you went and did that.
they are sitting in 5th. They're still looking.
Oh, but
looking
who
good
cares? They
overall.
lost to the Hornets.
Oh, well, I guess
I'm
it's
not-
it's our fault though, because we cursed them. As soon as we talk something good about a team, then they go and do the opposite. So
Shouldn't have. Look, they're not out of the woods yet. They could go. Like, Brooklyn is still there. Brooklyn
yeah,
are still in 6th. They're only a game behind. They've got a 2.5 game buffer from the Miami Heat.
I think it was interesting. I was looking at
Battle of New
the
York.
Brooklyn Bucks results, and honestly, the one positive I will say, they were close. They lost that game, but they were close. But the one positive is that now that they don't have like superstars, they're being really flexible with their minutes. The 5 starters, 3 of them scored 0 points that game.
Oh wow.
And they ended up having their starters maybe averaged about 15 minutes, and it was entirely the bench. I think Patty Mills went for about 28 or something. He hit like 5 3-pointers. So it's concerning when the guys that are meant to be leading the team do end up playing so terribly that the coach says, no, you're benched for the rest of the game. But at least the coaching staff's adapting, and I think giving some of the bench players a good shot as well.
Good on them.
So yeah, my thoughts are they're probably still going to drop, but I think they'll just hang in there, get a play-in position, I think. So
We'll have to see, because like all the people below them aren't really. It's like Brooklyn Nets have gone 4-6 in the last 10. Miami have gone 3-7. Atlanta Hawks have gone 5-5. We need to watch a game. I really want to see if they look any different with Quinn Snyder.
yeah,
Raptors have gone 6-4, but they're on a 2-game lose streak. Washington Wizards are 5-5. So like in theory,
I mean all those play-in teams aren't really that strong.
No,
They're not
no.
performing well. So.
even with Brooklyn losing their stars, I think if they can just sort of maintain like the 50% win-loss rate, they could hold on
should
to
be
6.
enough. Yeah. And-
Miami suck.
And look, I mean, as long as Cam Johnson and Michael Bridges have the odd big game to carry when the whole team isn't doing it, but yeah, they've got some depth, I suppose. They've got a little bit of options. So, I can see them probably hanging in play-ins, maybe even playoffs. So
Like there'll be a first round exit,
yeah,
but
they might make it
they
that
might
far.
be able to hold on because the East is really opened up and there isn't the same level of competency that we have in the West,
True.
especially after the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like the West is stronger, but we have had some nice little, I guess, almost playoff previews, because we did have that game between the Cavs and the Celtics. That was pretty entertaining at the end.
Banger.
Yeah. So I think it was the Cavs were pretty much down most of the game.
Oh, I watched it. The Boston Celtics just were like pew 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 pew. We don't know how to miss from 3. Pew 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 pew.
Just shooting lights out from deep,
They
pretty
were
much the whole
going
game.
wild. And look, the Cavs weren't as good from 3, but they were getting they were sort of keeping in there with good mid-range stuff.
Yeah.
And then Dono Mitchell was like, "Hold my beer, hold my poodle," and just sort of like they got it back. Like, and I think at one point they had like a 20. I don't want to say 25, but Boston had a pretty. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember exactly, but they had a very big lead and they blew it.
Yeah.
And then the last play, it was a tie.
So good.
Cleveland foul on the last play of the game.
It's like 0.8 on the clock left.
Grant Williams comes up to the free throw line and tells Donovan Mitchell, "I'm gonna hit both. I'm gonna hit both free throws." And Dono's like, "You're not. And they were actually really smart about it, right? So Grant Williams, he takes the first shot short.
Yeah.
Then
Bricks it off front room.
Everyone will like, and then Cleveland like start like slowing things down to really let him stew.
Yeah.
You know, they put in why I cannot remember people's names though. They put in Afro. What's Afro's name?
Oh, Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
Yeah.
They put Jared Allen in, and then everyone was just like, "Oh, do I stand here or do I stand over there?" And like walking.
They were
around.
having a little like almost quick timeout on the court in front of him.
Yeah, they were really letting him
wasting
stew.
time.
And Grant Williams is like an 80-something% free throw shooter.
Yeah, he's a decent shooter.
He's a very decent free throw shooter. So then the next one went long, bounced out.
Yeah, and then
Overtime.
0.8. Yeah. Oh, so as a player, obviously this is like what you train for, but psychologically, it clearly makes a huge difference when the game is on the line. He has two shots. He only needs to make one. He only needs to make one and misses both of them. So a little bit of good tactics by Mitchell there.
Yeah, well, he went short, and then he overcooked it on the second one.
Yeah.
So it was that second one, like
it was close, that one. To
like
be fair.
came in and then came out at like the last.
Yeah.
Like it was very close, that last one. But then it came into overtime, what is Cleveland's speciality? Overtime.
Yeah, they've had some great OT games
They
this
are
season.
9 from 9.
Yeah, wow.
They're 100% win rate from OT.
So if you're playing Cleveland, don't let them get to OT.
Don't go to OT because Dono's just like, okay, is it clutch time? I've got you. I'm ready.
Yeah, he's like, should I drop 71 again? Like, should I go off?
But it was a good match. Obviously, there was a little bit concerning that Cavs were struggling against Boston's like B team because they missed Williams. They were missing Al Horford. They were missing Jason Tatum.
Yep.
But it was scary how good Boston looked for most of that game. They were on fire.
So honestly, short of them like kind of losing it in the last quarter, they were playing really well without 3 of their key players.
Yeah.
So they're looking quite scary come playoff time probably.
Cleveland need to defend the 3-point line better.
Yeah, I think perimeter defense probably isn't their forte with Garland and Mitchell.
It needs to be.
Yeah.
Boston were just like, 3-pointer,
just hitting it.
3-pointer.
But that's what we've seen since the beginning of the season. We've seen them being a very high volume and very high efficiency 3-point shooting team, and that's how they were first in the East for the majority of the beginning of the season.
The only thing that makes me worried about Boston being a very heavy 3-point shooting team is that you live by the 3 and you die by the 3.
Rockets. Sorry.
Let's not talk about that.
But I mean, look, when they're firing, it works. It's unstoppable. But yeah, you need to make sure that you're really hitting on all cylinders when it comes to the playoffs.
Because that's the thing, right? If your 3 goes cold, I'd rather bet on a team like the Cavs who have some bigs that can get
or Mitchell buckets. Driving inside. There are options other than the 3 that they have in their arsenal. So
I'd also like Mitchell at the 3, but
he's really improved this season.
Mitchell's looking great. He's carried, it wasn't a fluke in Utah. He still looks good, surrounded by good people. I still want this Cats team to do well.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. I'm thinking that maybe this year isn't quite their year. If they can make another good move. I haven't looked at the waivers yet. It's too early to be looking at waivers for up-and-comings.
Yeah,
but if they can make... That's the thing. I just feel like now that they've got Mitchell... Like, this team's really good. I'm really happy with how they've constructed this roster. Maybe they're like one good signing away. Just one. I think they just need one more good signing because they've got Rubio, they've got the vets, they've got the bigs, they've got the double tower strat, which works really well. I reckon there may be one. You know what they're short? They're short one really solid 3-and-D player.
Yeah. First that came to mind was Jay Crowder, but he's... I guess had other issues, but
we don't trust Jay Crowder.
But like prime Jay Crowder, this is kind of what they're missing. Yeah, just like a good lockdown D, 3-point shooter. Yeah,
someone that just when you pass it to them, they get their 5 threes a game or whatever. Their 4 to 5 threes a game. Really good defense. That's what they need.
Yeah, I'd agree with that because honestly, the Cavs they're so close. But when you think about the teams like Nuggets. Talking about Bucks who have won it before, Celtics who made the playoffs. Yeah, it's looking a little tough. But
I still want them to do well. I still love watching them play. They've got, they're not just... I love teams at the moment. Like, look, obviously, I love watching 3-point shooting teams.
It's very, very exciting.
Watching Golden State and the Grizzlies play today, they were just trading daggers.
Yeah.
It was insane. But I love seeing teams like the Cavs that are not doing like the optimal strat and are still... And that's the thing, right? Statistically, if you can hit 3-point shots at a consistent rate, it's the better shot.
Yeah.
But your 2-point shot is also like a higher percentage.
Yeah, it's definitely fun watching teams
Mix it up.
not just do the exact same. Yeah, so that's why the Cavs are enjoyable.
Why I love watching like Phoenix and
king in the mid range, that team.
King of the mid range. Like there's so many different. There's a lot of different strats. Minnesota, I think, are a different strat. With Gobert and the bigs. So it's exciting to see the Cavs perform well, and they're in a position now where they can kind of be like, cool, we've got a really good core. Have we got any expirings coming up? Who do we need to keep? And then who are we targeting on the free market?
Yeah,
they're 1 or 2 big moves away. Like obviously getting Mitchell when they did was a huge move, and a huge move in the right direction. That changed
100%.
everything for them.
That was absolute game changer. They were already with Mobley last season, I think, over exceeding expectations, but that Mitchell move, that's been absolutely the key piece. That's
as
changed
much as it's really sad to see how well Markkanen's playing on the Jazz.
Yeah,
like it's like what coulda, shoulda, woulda, but Mitchell has that experience.
Yeah, and look at those 50-point playoff games. Like that's the type of guy they need in the playoffs, because with the previous roster, they could make playoffs, but I couldn't see them progressing, and now they have a guy that can do that. Moving up one rung in the ladder real quick to the Sixers, I want to quickly shout out James Harden, because I don't often do this, but I feel like he's been playing pretty well. He's had a couple games where he hasn't been scoring that well lately, but his facilitating has been off the charts.
Out of this world.
Yep. Last 5 games, he's had... Look, most of them he hasn't even cracked 20 points, but he's had some insane assist games. Last game had 20 assists, along with 9 rebounds. He's had a 13, a 12, a 10. He's been dropping dimes all over the place. Now, Embiid obviously is kind of the primary scorer on that team, but efficiency of Harden hasn't been the best offensively. Come playoff time, are we going to see any shines of Rockets Harden, or is he now a facilitator?
They don't need Rockets Harden. He's not there to be Rockets Harden.
That's true.
I watched a game a little while ago. I can't remember which one it was. Philadelphia was playing the Mavs, maybe, or I watched a Philly game, and there was a couple of really timely 3-point shots that Harden hit. Like he's still got it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need, like, he can still shoot, and as long as he's on, like, when he's on, he's on. But I don't think, for Philly, I don't think they need Rockets Harden. They've got Embiid. They've got the support, they've got Maxley. They've got the supporting cast. I don't think they need Rockets Harden. They need Harden to get 15, 20 points at a decent efficiency, and they need him, because that's the thing, right? It doesn't matter necessarily if he's shooting well or not, or how often he shoots. The fact of the matter is that he's still a threat, and they can't sag off him.
Okay,
they have to take him seriously. They can't. It's not like Russ is running up the court and you can be like, oh yeah, cool, we'll just let you, be bad, inefficient. If you leave Harden open, he'll nail it.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with him being a threat. I think that also works well with his facilitating, but I'm going to actually disagree with you here. I think they don't need playoff Harden from the Rocket days, but they still need him to contribute more, because after the number one option Embiid...
What do you mean? He got 20 assists the other day.
Yes.
40 points. At least 40 points.
Yes, but I feel like as a scoring option, unless Maxi's having a crazy game, they have a lot of good role players. I think they fleshed out the team quite well. But playoff time, when you need, like we're talking about Mitchell on the Cavs, they need that guy to just drop a ton. After Embiid, if he's not having that game, who's your number 2 guy?
But that's the thing. Embiid doesn't need to be, Harden's a better distributor.
Yeah.
Harden knows how to, either A, drive and kick the ball out to get the ball to Embiid in a better position than Embiid could get himself to. And then if they don't respect him properly, then he's going to take an easy bucket.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I just feel like we've talked about playoffs where you've got teams having time to adjust. When you have that one guy, kind of like against Giannis.
That's why you want Harden. If they lock down Embiid, who's going to set everyone else up? Harden.
Yeah.
Embiid's not the best distributor. He's okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Look,
I'll fight you on this.
His last few games, he's been, offensively in terms of distributing the ball, been incredible, but scoring-wise, taking a bit of a dip. The only time he cracked 20 in the last 5 games was with 11 free throws. So.
But then before, a couple of weeks ago, he spent a week getting a consistent 20 to 25 points a game.
That's fair.
So I think Harden's doing exactly what Harden's doing exactly what the 76ers need him to do.
He didn't do what Brooklyn needed.
which is to play make.
Yep.
He's there to pass it to they've got the depth, they've got the role players, they've got Embiid. It doesn't matter if he's passing it to Embiid 50 times or if he's passing it, like, as long as they're scoring off him and then he just does the occasional shot or blow by, or he's smart enough to, he's got an incredible handle on the game.
Yes, that is true.
Incredible.
That's true. Well, yeah, Philly looking pretty happy in those top three, I'd say. Like we said, East is a little bit more locked in.
East is a bit more locked in, but East is also one of those weird ones. So, like, the West could go anywhere. The East could go anywhere with the top four.
Yeah.
Like,
so they could still get different seeds by the end of the season, but we kind of know what the top four teams will be.
I think it's between, like, the Bucks, Celtics, 76ers, and Cavs. In my mind, they're all... Okay, maybe Cavs are like a half step down, but Boston, Bucks, and 76ers are, like, complete teams. They've got the big duo. They've got the right amount of bench talent coming off. Like, they've got the rotations. Yeah. 76ers still haven't managed to get rid of Doc, but...
Well, I mean, somehow they're still doing well. But yeah, it's pretty much down to end of the Eastern Conference Finals. One of those teams...
It'll be two of those teams.
It's going to be two of those teams in there, and one of them
Most
making
likely.
the finals. So, yeah.
Whereas the West, I'm just like... honestly, it could be anyone from
Anyone's
the top
game.
10.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's
Especially with how the injuries are turning out.
Quickly ducking back to the West, you mentioned his name a minute ago with Westbrook. We've had a little bit more time to see the Clippers with him. How is he going on the Clippers?
It's one of those weird things, right? So since they've acquired Russ, they have gone 2 from 7, the Clippers.
Okay, so record hasn't been great.
Record has not been great. I haven't checked who are they losing against. Were they losing against good teams or bad
They've had
teams?
a couple tough ones.
Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, Nuggets, King. Yeah, no, okay. So they've had
predominantly a tough stretch of games.
That was a tough stretch of games. And it's only been 7 games, so it's a bit hard to tell. But at the moment, the efficiency EFG percentage. That's efficiency.
Yep. I think
rating.
it's effective field goal percentage. I think that is. Yeah.
So when Russ has been on, the team efficiency rating has been 59%, which is better than Reggie Jackson at 54, better than Terrence Mann at 54, and better at John Wall than 53. And when Russ is off, it's pretty much the same, 54% off, which is pretty much on par with the other guys.
That's so interesting. I usually don't hear efficiency and Westbrook in the same sentence, but he's actually made a noticeable difference on the efficiency.
He's not efficient, but he's good at passing to people.
I mean, that's fair.
He has, despite his issues, it's like one of those weird things, right? Where like half of the game Russ has his horse blinders on and is just driving to the rim like an idiot. But then the other half of the time, he does pass.
Yeah.
He is fairly good at doing the drive kick strat.
I feel like I watched some of the games already, and you can see him actually finding good looks for the team. And yes, he's got his moments, but also the change in Westbrook too is that he's coming in with the attitude, whatever you need me to do, I'll do. I'm happy to be playing for a contender. I think that's quite different. I think early on with the Lakers, he was not that happy to be doing a bench role. He embraced it eventually. Yeah. But I think he's coming onto this team like, we've got a good roster. Let's just win.
And I think also going in with Paul George, like he spent a lot of time with Paul George in OKC.
He's definitely got George like advocating for him as well.
Hopefully.
And it's a bit of chemistry there.
Look, familiarity, right?
Yeah.
It's like the moment Conley started playing with Gobert, he started saying good things.
Yeah.
There's, I don't think it's a, what do you call it? Ricky Rubio and Dono on the Cavs. Like those they've been playing years together, and I think it shows.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be around people that you know.
So honestly, I think the win rate on the last 7 games isn't really indicative of the team because they have had quite a tough schedule. I think it is an improvement with Westbrook. So we'll have to see how they go.
So I did manage to quickly Google the remaining schedule strengths. So we're going to talk about that in a moment. But last but not least, Rivalry Stew. We had Golden State versus the Grizzlies.
Yes.
There's been so much chat between Brooks and Green, Draymond Green. It's been hilarious. Draymond's been flying off on his podcast. Brooks just goes to the media and goes, "Bruh, this guy's a clown." Like,
yeah,
I have no respect for him or the Golden State. And then Dre today was like, oh, Grizzlies aren't even on our level. We've got 4 championships. They've got none. Like,
The funniest thing is that every time Draymond says, like, this isn't even a rivalry because we've got rings and they don't, the more it makes it a rivalry because they just keep firing back at each other.
Steve Kerr, and can I say this? He looked like he was having a stroke today. He was, as in, like, not in the, as in, like, he was sitting so still, like, you could see every time it panned to him, he looked like he was a petrified zombie.
He did look really stressed. He looked like he was just
But he was also, like, trying not to show it.
Yeah. He's trying to keep it inside is what he looked like.
It was just, like...
just poker face, but inside you could tell,
They were not happy to be losing to the Grizz at all.
Especially without Jar, without Steven Adams. Yeah, they were missing players.
They were not happy.
Yeah. So, look, I can kind of understand them saying it's not a rivalry because they haven't got rings. But it is. When you're,
these guys hate each other.
When you're going out of your way to talk smack, particularly about Brooks and just the team as a whole, it started a beef,
hate each other.
Yeah.
I am praying to Buddha. I don't pray to Buddha very often, but when I do, Buddha, please, can the Grizz and the Golden State have the first round together?
I mean, honestly,
please.
Honestly, it's pretty likely. It's pretty likely because currently, as things stand, they are like going to be facing each other with Grizzlies in 3rd and Golden State in 6th.
This is the only thing I want for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, it's. The Grizzlies do have a bad reputation. A lot of stuff going around with them. But I still stand by what I said earlier in that it makes for entertaining basketball because whenever these teams match up, even the graphics that they're doing in between the breaks, they're bringing up comments and tweets and stuff. Yeah.
It's so funny.
So everyone's leaning into it. The league's leaning into it.
Yes. But I like it when they're talking, and I told you this at lunch, right? The Grizz talk smack every game they play. That just makes them look like bad people.
Yeah, when they're going off at other teams where there's no beef and they're not really responding, like, okay, whatever.
It just makes them. It's like the bully in the playground going, "Ha, I'm better than you."
Yeah, but when the two bullies come up against each other, then it's exciting.
Exactly. You got to pick and choose. That's the thing. Golden State doesn't smack talk everyone they play.
Yeah, they smack talk the refs a lot, but they don't smack talk other teams.
I love it when they smack talk the refs. So good.
But yeah, I mean, with a short-staffed Grizzlies, they still managed to beat the Warriors. With Steph back, with Clay, yeah, I mean, look, they're missing Kuminga.
They don't have they got slaughtered by the bigs today.
Yeah. One thing I found interesting with mostly, look, we've talked about small ball for many years now, but when you see Klay Thompson as your starting power forward, you go, wow, this is small ball. But there have been so many teams running this. I've seen more shooting guards at power forward than I have in a very long time. I'm trying to remember the other teams I saw, but some of the starting lineups, look, they'll mix it up. They'll throw a big on for intervals.
It's like there's a shortage of good bigs at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's the play style. Part of it is probably the personnel available.
But they definitely got wrecked on the offensive boards and defensive boards.
Yeah.
Like Golden State paid. Like, yes, they might have had extra firepower, but they definitely paid for it on the defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've made it work for multiple championships, but they can't rely on it every game because we saw this game exactly what happens when you haven't got the bigs. You just get dominated on the boards.
And they weren't hot enough from 3. And Steph, I swear there was one point where Steph was going for rebounds on his own. Yeah. He got one, but it was...
Steph is actually surprisingly good at rebounds. Well, not good at rebounds. It's just the size of his team. He ends up with like averaging 6 or something rebounds a game.
But they weren't hot enough today to warrant going small. Yeah. They didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, Jackson Jr., Tillman just feasting on rebounds. So, yeah, it'd be interesting because... This matchup, if it does happen first round, you've got a team that's playing a bit more traditional bigs against small ball, and plus all the drama. It's a perfect situation. So yeah, we have to see.
Buddha of basketball, hear my prayer. So, to finish off the podcast, I have Googled the NBA remaining schedule strength.
Okay, this is always interesting when we come to the end of the season.
We're doing this live. We haven't had a chance to look at this list.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that points out to me in the top 5, let's go top 10. Utah, San Antonio, doesn't matter. Toronto at 4th, doesn't matter. Portland at 5th. Kings. Oh, actually, okay, we'll go back to the Kings. But Phoenix is 3rd.
Yeah.
Phoenix have 17 games left. They still have to face off against the Bucks, Denver, Celtics, Grizzlies, Kings, and themselves. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. They've got Bucks, Denver twice, Philly, Kings twice, Lakers and Golden State.
So just to reference, the third is in the third toughest schedule
Yes.
we're talking about.
Yes,
Yep.
this is the third hardest schedule
Yep.
in the league.
And to add insult to injury,
No.
KD could be gone for this really tough stretch too.
No KD.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So look, I don't think they're going to be out of the playoffs, but their seed is going to be the thing they're fighting for. I think they're going to
And
be
The West, normally seeds aren't that important, but West seeds are important.
end of the season.
I
it
think
is.
being from home, especially if you're going up against Golden State, you want to be from home because Golden State can't win on the road.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen it all
Honestly,
season.
if Golden State and Grizzlies face off, it'll come down to Game 7 because none of those teams can win on the road.
That's actually so true. Oh,
So Toronto doesn't matter. I think Philadelphia.
Toronto, we got to put a little bit of respect on some
No.
of these lower teams.
No.
I'm going to put a bit of respect
No.
on them. They're currently a play-in team, and we've said how that little section
Disagree.
of teams aren't playing well.
They're not going to win. They're not going to get out of the first round.
No, they're probably not. They're probably not.
Poo on Toronto. I don't care.
They're probably not.
They're
But
terrible.
this is still an important stretch for them to
They
get
suck.
to get an okay play-in matchup to then make.
They should have tanked.
Okay, all right. We don't talk about little teams.
No, we do. But Toronto
but-
are only there because Nick Nurse is an amazing coach. And
That's
their
true. He's a
team is
very
trash.
good coach. Very good coach. Quick reference to Toronto while we're on it. Fred VanVleet had I guess less than nice words to say about some of the refs.
He
Uh,
honestly, he got fined 30 grand.
Yeah,
he
30
deserved it, but it was true.
yeah.
I think that's.
We've had a lot of questionable calls recently. So
Yeah.
anyway. But back to
Philadelphia are ranked 5th with 17 games to go, and they've got like Bucks, Denver, Boston, Cavs, Suns, and Brooklyn.
but probably not enough, I would say, to knock them off the third seed.
No.
So they're
As
probably
long
a
as they
lock.
go 50.
Yeah.
These are top teams as long as they go 50%. Portland, I know I crapped all over Toronto, but West is a lot closer. So Portland having
Yeah.
a tough schedule with where they're sitting could be very detrimental.
I
to
mean,
their
it's kind of
playoff
wild
run.
because they're 13th. They're third last in the West, but all they need is a decent stretch, and they could be locked in at like 6th or 5th,
Yeah.
theoretically.
Theoretically,
Not
but,
saying it's going to
but
happen.
they've got to verse the Kings twice, LA twice. Not looking great.
Mm,
So then you've got Sacramento Kings at 7th.
okay.
Which, they're playing pretty well. And look, they've got to play like Bucks, Denver, Celtics, Phoenix twice, Nets, Golden State. So and I would almost say that the Nets and the Golden State are probably favorable matchups for the Kings. And then if they go 50% on the harder matchups, then they're Gucci.
True. I will add, though, that I think this is actually a crucial stretch because the Kings currently are really effectively tied for that second seed with the Grizzlies, which will be the difference between playing 6th seed, if you get third, which means you are playing a playoff team, against one who's already had to play a play-in game.
Yes.
So, honestly, the other side of this, Memphis have the second easiest schedule. So this is why I think this matchup's going to be really interesting with, Kings and Grizzlies. How they go over the end of the season could determine if they get a more tired team or a full-strength team for playoffs.
Yeah, I think for them, like for Kings and Grizzlies, which are a little bit more matchup dependent. Not necessarily
Yeah.
matchup dependent, but a little bit younger team, less experience.
Yep.
You want to try and, let's try and blow through the first round as quick as possible.
Yeah,
Put your feet up.
because definitely lacking experience playoff-wise, those teams.
So Sacramento having a harder run could be the difference for them between second and third, which for Grizzlies and Sacramento, like getting second is huge.
Yep, definitely.
Should be like number one goal for both teams.
100%.
Then you've got Golden State, which Golden State are like hanging in there, like they're doing okay.
Technically tied with the Timberwolves and Mavs for the 6th seed at the moment. So
Doesn't that mean they're equal 8th?
equals 6th technically. You'd categorize it as, but yeah,
That's
six,
it. They lose
six
one
through to
game
8.
and they could be 8th.
Exactly. Yep. So
Lose 2 games, they're 10th.
yeah, which is the difference between straight into the playoffs and having to play play-ins.
Yeah.
So
And they're not. Golden State are not looking good this year.
No. Definitely not.
Oh no.
And with Kuminga out, that's some of their size gone, so that's even more small ball.
Oh no.
Might not match up well.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Houston doesn't matter. Minnesota around that 10th mark, so we haven't quite hit the halfway, but Minnesota have some difficult ones coming up. They're fighting for a spot.
Yeah. Same with Golden State.
Atlanta, Brooklyn, Washington doesn't matter. Charlotte, Orlando. Let's go the bottom 15. Starting from the bottom, Cleveland.
Easiest
the
schedule.
Easiest schedule on paper.
But again, not super crucial. I don't think they'll quite crack the 3rd seed, so it should just lock in the 4th probably.
Unless Philly went on like a terrible run.
because they do have the 5th toughest. So yeah, potentially.
Unless they went on a terrible run. But look, Cleveland should just be able to cruise. Like at this stage, it's like cool. Let's watch our minutes. Let's play it safe. We just got to win our games, or just 50% our games, and no injuries.
Yep,
Same with
definitely.
Memphis. Just
stay
cruise
healthy.
along. I'm not super happy to see that the Lakers have an easier schedule, but we'll take it how it is. They've got injury concerns. They've got new teammates. They've got a lot of playing time to get used. Like they've got a lot of adjustments to make to get ready for playoffs with the new team.
It's true.
New Orleans, gosh, they need it.
Yep. They need to have a good stretch. Currently sitting in 10th, so they are technically in play-in territory right now, but they need to stay there or move up if they can.
New Orleans,
England
Dallas
up.
could use that as well. They're hanging on.
Yep.
Luka might be injured. Kyrie's just come along. I think they'll pull through. I think the really interesting thing is you've got a couple of really good teams like Boston, New York, Denver, Milwaukee, LA are all in the top bottom half of easier schedules.
Yeah, so they're kind of sitting around mid-range, but they are on the slightly easier side. So yeah, we can probably see them more or less hanging where they are till the end of the season.
It's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah, but I think the most tough is going to be those play-in spots in the West.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially with some of those teams having really easy or really tough schedules.
Yeah, and I think definitely not concerned, but definitely interested to see how. I think Phoenix, Philly, Portland, Sacramento, and Golden State go.
Yeah,
and maybe Toronto, but probably not.
One quick thing as well is just how good are the play-ins? Because if this was a normal season, it would still be interesting to see who kind of squeezes into that 7th and 8th spot. But when you have teams that are this close, it's almost unfair to come down to half a game and then not make it. Whereas this gives the teams to just go all out, have that one last game and fight for it. So I think that's been one of the best introductions to the league.
It's very entertaining. And they rate really well because you literally make the playoffs. It's a
do or die. It's just one game. It's like March Madness, like just that one game to make it. So.
And some teams do blow it. Like I think Golden State have won some and lost some. I think the entertainment value is fantastic.
100%. So.
Well, thanks for listening. Shout out to my mum, my girlfriend. She every time I shout her out, she's like, "Oh, thanks for the shout out." She listens to this.
Hey, they're our number one fans.
Exactly.
What can we say?
So thanks for listening. Give us a rating: 5 stars, 10 stars.
Whatever the maximum is, give us that.
Yeah, give us one. That. Give us 5 NBA championships. 5 stars.
We want them rings.
Give us a like. Give us a follow. Check out our TikTok. Check us out on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
We're out.
Cool. I was waiting for you to say something like, "Hey, come on, give us a good bye."
Stirring a little stew.
Oh yeah, eat the beef stew.